be the one to say, these are the steps that I took to make friends in Thailand. But to be honest, I still haven't made that many friends. You know what's weird about living in Thailand? Is I've probably met more people while being here than I ever did back home. But there's often still times that I feel lonely. I've had conversations with people I've just met. I've made friends with people for a few days. I've gone out drinking with people I just met that morning. But I think I was confusing meeting people with actually making real friends. Making acquaintances is easy, but making real friends as an adult in a country where you don't speak the language perfectly, most people are just passing through. And as a shy 30-something-year-old introvert who enjoys quiet hikes in the middle of nowhere, away from the crowds, instead of having a beer at the bar, that's just not as easy. And after 2 years here, I think I'm finally starting to understand why. And maybe part of it is just a numbers game. Maybe somewhere like Bangkok, where there's a couple million people, instead of here in Hua Hin, when there's only a few thousand, it's easier. I don't know. And before coming to Thailand, I didn't expect it to be easy to make friends, but I definitely expected it to be easier to make friends here than it is back home. And I think maybe one of the main reasons is I expected to be teaching at a big school with a bunch of other foreign English teachers, especially at a school of over 1,000 students. So when I got here and I realized I was the only foreign English teacher in the school, and I only realized that on day one, it definitely came as a surprise. Also, I expected it to be a lot easier to make friends with Thai people. From not only the stories that I heard, but experiencing myself how friendly and how welcoming Thai people are. But I realized most of the Thai people you meet here, especially when you're on holiday, are in the hospitality business. And it's kind of their job to be friendly and open and welcoming. But when you go into a normal working environment, somewhere like a public school, especially a public school where they aren't used to interacting with foreign people.
Morning.
How's it, morning? Yeah? Was it not me?
No.
Someone else, obviously.
Fucking wanker. You fucking say what's going on. You fucking done it. The money was good. You fucking not. People have got fucking funny eyes. They got high opinions of themselves. Well, play around the fucking world. Fuck me, behave yourself.
I don't know if I finished my point on making Thai friends. I got an older gentleman came up and had a conversation with me. It isn't that I can count on one hand the amount of times that people over the past 2 years have come up and started a conversation with me. One of the only 5 times in Thailand that someone has come up and spoken to me happens while I'm recording a video on loneliness in Thailand. Call that what you want, synchronicity or whatever, but it's something, brother. But yeah, about making friends in Thailand. The issue that I found is most of the time you're going to be meeting people when you go out to public places like bars or maybe even restaurants. And the thing I found is every friend that I made, we don't really have common interests. Like when we had time off, at the same time off together, people were like, let's go to Bangkok. And I'm like, why? I love Bangkok, but I don't want to go there for a holiday. You know what I mean? I want to go somewhere into nature. Or every time I would meet someone and they suggest something to do, it's always like, let's go for a beer. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy going and having a drink or a couple of drinks with mates every now and then. But if that's the only thing we do and that's the only thing we have in common, then the relationship starts to feel quite superficial. Again, like I said, I'm a nature boy. I like being out in nature. I don't mind going and having a drink, but I want to go for a hike. I want to go chill on the beach. I want to go on a road trip. I want to go go find some new temples. I want to go look for some waterfalls. But most people just want to go for a beer. I don't know if it's because it's easy or I actually don't know what the reason is. Oh, but it's like, it's not like I don't feel like I have anyone to talk to. I have people to reach out to, I have people to call if I want to go have a drink, I have people to go and chill with, I have people that I see on a daily basis and I can make small talk with. But have you ever heard of that Theo Von quote where he says he doesn't feel like he doesn't have anybody, but it feels like people don't have him? And I think a lot of what I'm talking about boils down to that. It feels like people just don't have your back. You have friends or acquaintances, but it doesn't feel like when shit hits the fan that you have someone to call. I think one of the problems I have with reaching out to people is I already have really amazing supportive people in my life that do have my back and have been there for me when shit hits the fan. The problem is they don't live in the same country as me and I don't get to see them that often. And they don't live in one place. It's not like when I go back to South Africa that I get to see my friends again. All my friends have moved all over the place and moved all over the country. I mean, all my friends have moved all over the world. And I think I can kind of understand why a lot of the Thai teachers are so reluctant to open up to new people. I think it's when you've seen people come and go so often that you kind of just stop opening up and you just stop opening up to them. You put in the effort to try and talk to them, to try and help them, to be friendly, to be supportive, and then they just leave. We just had a new teacher join our school a few months ago. All of the teachers put in a lot of effort to try and make her feel welcome and were supportive and try to be friendly and went out of their way to try and make sure she wasn't lonely, to make sure she felt like she was welcomed. It seemed like she was happy. It seemed like she was fine. It seemed like she was having a good time. And then she had planned to go back home for a week, and then she was meant to come and finish her contract for another 2 months. She went back for the week and just never came back to school. She messaged us the day before and said, hey, I got some things I need to sort out and I'm not going to be finishing my contract. And I think that came as quite a shock to a lot of the teachers, including myself, because we had started to become friends with her. And we had opened ourselves up and it seemed like she was going to stay for a while, at least, you know? I don't know what I'm trying to say. I think the loneliest I felt was actually when I first moved here and when I first arrived in Bangkok. And I'm not someone that generally gets that lonely. I'm an introvert that enjoys spending time by myself. I enjoy doing activities by myself. I'm okay just sitting with my thoughts and thinking. I'm also generally not someone that gets anxious, or gets anxiety. I mean, I feel anxious sometimes. I feel nervous about things, but I generally don't get anxiety. And I remember on my way here, I remember being on the BTS just after I landed, not having slept for like over 24 hours, not having eaten any proper food. I remember standing on the BTS on the way to my hotel in Bangkok, having a borderline anxiety attack, because I think the reality of moving to a foreign country, away from my friends and family, where I didn't know anybody, I didn't know where to get food, I didn't know how to get around, I didn't know anything. And I think that kind of I was just overstimulated. I had to kind of calm myself down and do some breathing techniques on the BTS. I remember it's such a contrast between the BTS has some of the most beautiful views of riding through Bangkok, and you have all these amazing, beautiful buildings. It's so busy, happy people coming on holiday, and then there's me inside my own head freaking out about, oh my God, did I just make the wrong decision? And am I going to be stuck in this country for the next foreseeable future? And what have I done with my life? I feel like that every time I fly to a new country or do an international flight, the first 24 hours, I just feel like going back home and going back to my bed and hugging my family. But I know once I've slept, once I've eaten, once I've showered, and once I've rested, I normally adapt pretty easily and I normally start to feel better after that. And I'm pretty sure loneliness is something that everyone experiences at some point in their life. So I want to hear your guys' stories too. If you've ever experienced loneliness, I want to hear your story. I want to hear your experience. I want to hear, how did you deal with loneliness? What do you do when you feel lonely? I want to make this channel a place where people feel comfortable enough to share their experiences in the comments and almost have like an open discussion in the comments where we can talk about our problems, give each other advice, share stories, share experiences. So yeah, let me know what's going on, what you think. I kind of wanted to be the one that could give you guys some advice, be the one to say, these are the steps that I took to make friends in Thailand. But to be honest, I still haven't made that many friends. I maybe have one true real friend that I made within like the first month of getting here. Something I'm still trying to figure out myself. But what I have realized is you don't feel as lonely without friends if you build a community. And I think that's the one thing I've managed to do over the past 2 years, is I've managed to build a community, or at least feel like I'm a part of the community that they have here in Hua Hin already. I feel like I've finally broken through to the teachers. I finally feel like they have accepted me and they're like, okay, this teacher isn't going to be here for just 1 year. He's been here for 2.5 years now and he doesn't have any plans to leave. So they actually started accepting me. They started making small talk with me. They started inviting me to eat with them, started just having small chats and small talk with me. So over time, you start to see the same people over and over. And you do start to feel like you're part of the community. And it makes you feel not so lonely. Just seeing, I go to the same 7-Eleven every morning to get my coffee. Those people know me and they know my order. They know what coffee I get. Every morning when I walk in, they say, "Mocha mai?" And I say yes. And there's even one guy there that no matter what time I walk into the 7-Eleven, he always asks me if I want a mocha. And he knows I only get coffee in the morning, but I'll come at like 11 p.m., 11 o'clock at night, midnight, and he'll pop his head out from behind the counter and say, "Mocha mai?" And we kind of have a little laugh about it. This is why I think it's so important to learn a little bit of Thai, because it breaks down that cultural and that language barrier of you just having a transaction with somebody and actually changing that transaction into an interaction. And I think there's so much depth that I can talk about there, but I'll have to make a whole separate video about that. Whereas being able to ask someone how their day is, ask someone about their family, ask them how they're feeling, ask them just random small talks that you feel are so insignificant. Like so many people talk about they don't like small talk until you don't have any small talk. And then you realize that it actually does contribute to your day. And it does, what I want to say, counteract loneliness, especially when you don't have any friends or you don't have anyone to chat to. Just having small interactions throughout your day, making jokes with people, asking about their family, asking about random life events really does just fill your cup up just enough to not feel lonely. I had some questions I wrote down for myself to answer in this video, and one of them was, after 2.5 years of being here, do I feel like I finally belong? And I don't really know what that question means. I don't know what it means to belong somewhere. But if that means, do I feel like this is where I'm meant to be? Then the answer is yes. But I also feel, just like, is that Beatles song that says there's nowhere that you can be that's not where you're meant to be? I felt like when I was home, that's when I was meant to be. When I travel, I feel like that's when I'm meant to be. Now that I'm here, I feel like this is where I'm meant to be. And if one day I decided to go back home, that's where I would feel like I'm meant to be. I kind of feel like anywhere I go is where I'm meant to be. But 2 years from now, my thing is I want to be independent and be able to travel all over the world. And it's hard to be a part of a community when you're constantly moving and traveling all over the world. And one of the reasons I started this channel is to try and build a community that I can be a part of, and other people that have similar mindsets or also have the same issue of wanting to travel all over the world can also see this as a community where people can come together in the comment section and talk about their lives, share their experiences like I mentioned before. And this channel has also been kind of a creative outlet for me, especially when I first got here, when I first started and I didn't have anyone to talk to, and often I'm never speaking any English. I felt like my English skills were deteriorating even though I'm an English teacher. This one helps me practice my English so that I'm actually speaking English every day. And two, it kind of makes me feel less lonely when I'm sharing something with you guys. It's almost like a video journal. I still feel like I'm putting something out there that other people can relate with if they ever do end up watching it. If someone came to Thailand today and they met me and they told me that they were feeling lonely, before I was the type of person that I would say, yeah, just reach out if you need anything. And that kind of is shit advice, because you're putting more pressure on them to have to reach out to you when they're already feeling low to try and make a connection. Whereas now I think I would invite them out to go somewhere. Like, hey, let's go grab a coffee, or hey, let's jump on our bikes and go on a road trip, or hey, there's this cool little hidden waterfall that I found, if you want to go to this weekend, let's make a mission. Actually being the one that reaches out to someone instead of putting the pressure on someone else that's already feeling lonely. That's what I wish when I first came here, that there was someone that would reach out to me. So that's the one thing, if I could give any piece of advice. I don't like that, that's too preachy. Oh, I'm getting eaten by the ants. So thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys. See you in the next one. Peace.